What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Listen, so the other day I saw that a women's college basketball game amassed way more views than an NBA game between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. And when I saw that, I said, first, salute to the women's college basketball game because women's college basketball has made tremendous strides. Those games are competitive, they're fun to watch. The girls' skill level has increased tremendously. You got girls like Caitlin Clark pulling up for 30 from 30 like Steph Curry. And when you got that type of parity in the college basketball game, you see LSU losing to other teams and stuff like that. It's parity all throughout women's college basketball, and it's a lot of exciting players to watch. You think to yourself and say, damn, why is the NBA product not connecting? Or like, for the NBA games, certain matchups sell, but it's not, the product all across the board is not matching viewership of even sometimes the women's college basketball games. And I thought about this. The NBA gonna have to bring back hand checking. They gonna have to bring back hand checking. I'm sorry, y'all. It's the best way to save the NBA's product and get the viewership back to where it once was. I'm sorry, right? Scoring has become more encouraged now. The commissioner, they want a lot of scoring because they feel like the fans want to see teams score a lot of points. They don't want 69, 68 type scores anymore. But I don't think you will see those type of scores anymore because the players are they're so advanced and they're so skilled that they'll figure out ways to score. But you got to make it a little bit more difficult. The other day I'm watching a game, the Lakers won, what was it, 145, 144. You know, you see games like this against the Golden State Warriors, and I know that they can shoot it up, right? So sometimes they can be an anomaly. I'm talking about Steph Curry can, right? But yeah, scores are getting crazy. Dudes getting 40, 41. Luka Doncic had like 41 points at the half not too long ago, right? You got Devin Booker almost getting 40 at half. Teams getting 80 points at halftime. That's ridiculous. Like, that's when you feel like the product is starting to get a little bit watered down. What do I mean by that? In the 90s, I'm born in 93, but I've done some research. In 1993, only 9 players averaged 20 points per game. In 2024, 57 players averaged 20 points per game. That's crazy. Back then, if you got 20 a game, you was looked at as nice. You was looked at as official. You was a dog because it was hard to get 20 points. It was hard to get 20, man. 20 was not an easy thing to do. You got 18 points a game, 16 points a game. You was well respected. Now, you got dudes coming off the bench getting 30. I mean, not 30, 20 or 18, 19. You got three 20-point scores on one squad. And you like, damn, who? And some of these dudes, they are not really household names because just like dudes can get 20 at free will. And I'm not saying it's just if you just letting people get 20. What I'm saying is that there is not enough resistance at times where guys can like, I don't care what nobody say, man. It just shouldn't be 150-point games and stuff like that on a regular basis. That's just where you feel like hand checking gonna have to come back to make these things more competitive. Hand checking will slow the game down and give possessions more meaning. Because when possessions don't have no meaning, when they know they're going to just get a whole bunch of possessions, dude just start jacking up shots. The defense is not really played like that at certain points in the game because they feel like, okay, I'm going to just get a chance to hit a 3. And that's 3 to your 2. You know what I mean? If you put hand checking back in, I think it can kind of mediate, it can kind of tone that down and dial that back just a little bit, a smidge at least. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking like, yo, dudes is like, again, in the early 2000s, bro, that's why when D Rose won MVP, I'm a Chicago native, so I'm going to use Derek, for example. People will look at Derek's numbers and say, man, he won MVP averaging 25 a game and what, nearly 8 assists? They're like, that ain't all that spectacular. During that time period, getting 25 a game was tough. That was official. In what, 2011, that season? Getting that was official to get 25 a game. That was difficult to get. You know what I mean? And so when you recognize that, you like it, that his 25 meant more than 25 now. It was just harder to come by. when you look at I look at like Rashard Lewis and individuals like that, because those are perimeter shooters. Getting 22 a game, people might look at poo-poo Rashard Lewis now because they look at some people now getting 22 a game. That was hard to do back then, man. That was not an easy feat. I'm thinking about guys like, trying to think, even not role players, but six men like Jason Terry. He was official. And Jay Terry was in Atlanta, was getting 20 a game and stuff like that. But people may scoff at that because of how the game is now, where you got a lot more 20-point scorers. So it doesn't seem like it's that difficult to score 20 when it really is. I'm going to say this too. Dudes are getting 20. They nice. The dudes that's getting 20, you have to be nice to get 20. What I'm saying is that it's easier to come by 20 now. When I say 57 players averaging 20 a game, that's crazy. That's when you like, okay, more resistance needs to be put into play, because even with the marksmanship of players, it's still a way to slow some of that down. You know what I mean? To kind of slow it down a little bit and make it a little bit more difficult. But I think I said the NBA brand emphasized scoring more because it appeases fans. And I'm going to be for real. As much as I like to see dudes get buckets, back in the mid-2000s era, I always liked Eastern Conference basketball a lot because I feel like a lot of the Western Conference teams was just doing a whole bunch of scoring and no defense at times. Look, the Phoenix Suns, even the Golden State Warriors teams were stacking them. There wasn't no defensive squad at all. They just tried to outgun you. The Dallas Mavericks for a while before getting Tyson Chandler was just a team that was trying to outgun you a lot. Like I said before, who I say? I just said even Seattle Supersonics with Rashard Lewis, they ain't play a lot of defense. You're trying to outgun you. And like I said, the Phoenix Suns, all of that, it was fun to watch, but after a while, you feel like, man, okay, I want to go see some defense. Let me go watch the Pistons now. Let me go watch the Bulls now play in some of these playoff games. Let me go see, you know what I mean, Mike Brown and the Cleveland Cavaliers implement some defense to slow some of this stuff down. You wanted to see, like, all right, I appreciated resistance at times, especially coming from, like, in Chicago, when you playing pickup basketball, boy, you got to play defense, bro. Like, in Chicago high school basketball, you got to play D. The coach going to sit you on the bench if you just trying to not just score all the points and don't play no defense. That's not flying in Chicago public league. It's just not. Especially in the Red West or the Red West or Red South division. You know what I'm saying? Red South, Red West. You better play some defense. I don't care who you are. You better try to have an effort defensively or you're going to get sit down. And the coach ain't going to, hey, listen, I'm not letting you go for 40. You just do what the hell you want to do out here. And so because like I didn't play college, I didn't play high school basketball or nothing. But even in the court pickup, I would play in the pickup games at the parks and stuff a lot. Man, you better play some defense. You better provide some resistance. You better put a hand in that man's face. You better try to challenge the ball. And so I always appreciated that type of game where I'm like, okay, you see resistance. These dudes, okay, you want to see Dwight Howard get up there and block them shots. Orlando teams, he in there, he getting it out the paint. You know what I mean? You wanted to see these dudes come up and put a wall of defense up so you just can't get off whenever you want to get off. And, you know, but again, to get the casual fan more involved, they want to see a fast-paced game. I remember when Mike D'Antoni was implementing that in Phoenix. And, you know, it was a whole bunch of lobs being thrown to Sean Marion, the Matrix, to Amari Stoudemire. Guys had open jump shots, Quentin Richardson, Boris Diaw, you had Leandro Barbosa. Guys had a lot of great open shots and great ball movement, but when it came to the defensive end, it was just like, hey, it is what it is. And don't slow the ball down at all. You don't slow it down. It's over with. And so, yeah, I think hand checking going to have to get brought back in order for games to be competitive enough and entertaining enough that people be like, yo, I gotta see this. Now, we've had great entertainment moments in basketball over the playoff series over the last few years. We had great moments. The in-season tournament was fun to watch. Great moments, you know what I mean? And that's what they're trying to implement these things to get players to stop, because the in-season tournament was created to give an incentive for players not to load manage And I think to spice up viewership and to get things and keep things interesting in the NBA realm. So you got to bring hand checking back, I think, to get stuff back interesting as well. Because if not, it's just gonna be, it's gonna continue. I think viewership is gonna continue to be average at times, unless you're watching LeBron against Steph, or you're watching Luka Doncic versus Joel Embiid, or Luka versus Steph Curry. You know, like it won't be just so matchup based where you want to just watch it. Where you like, okay, I'm gonna watch it when I'm watching a decent team play. People will still want to watch. You know, because there's no way the Boston Celtics franchise, like is a historic franchise as that is, against the Miami Heat, should have had less viewership than a WNBA. I mean, not WNBA. I'm sorry. Than a women's college basketball game. Now, no disrespect to women's college basketball. I'm just saying, as storied as these franchises are, it should have been some more clamor to watch that game than what it is. But you know, it is what it is, man. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out. Peace.